Ever since soft drinks and sodas were invented, many people have often been worried of the risks. Throughout their history, these beverages have often changed their composition in order to become healthier as we gradually become more knowledgeable of the potential effects of these drinks. Take the original Coke for instance. When it was first produced in 1885 by John Pemberton, the recipe contained cocaine in the form of an extract of the coca leaf, hence the name Coca. Back then, cocaine was a legal substance and found in many medicines. People thought it was generally safe, but now, over 100 years later, we know the dangers of consuming cocaine quite profoundly, although modern cocaine is much different to what was in Coca-Cola. These beverages continue to change their recipe many times. A common ingredient used to be sucrose, but again, many studies have found that even something as simple as this can cause an array of diseases. Even its replacement, such as high fructose corn syrup, is also linked to diseases, hence the creation of drinks such as Coke Zero and Pepsi Max using artificial sweeteners. Yet it seems as though even these drinks aren't perfect, with the main artificial sweetener, aspartame, linked to the development of diseases such as cancer. But how true is this? Let's review. If you simply type into Google aspartame cancer risk, the first thing that appears is there is no convincing evidence that artificial sweeteners, like aspartame, cause cancer. So based on this, why have the World Health Organization just released a statement saying that aspartame can in fact be a risk of developing cancer? Well, let's take a look at some research. In a study from Landrigan and Strafe, they exposed animals to aspartame and underwent immunohistochemical analysis, and the most recent internationally harmonised nomenclature and diagnostic criteria, which is how we classify microscopic lesions in a standardised manner. Now, this experiment saw that when these animals were exposed to aspartame, it was indeed a carcinogen. Lesions typically arose on the rats in the form of lymphoma, and it could even pass on to their offspring. This study basically showed that aspartame, the same sweetener found in Coke Zero and Pepsi Max, does cause cancer. Because of studies like this, the World Health Organization changed the classification of aspartame on the IARC ranking. It's now in category 2B, which is the third highest out of 4 levels, reserved for when there is limited but not convincing evidence for cancer in humans, or convincing evidence for cancer in experimental animals, but never both. After looking at the previous study, we can confirm that there is limited evidence for it in experimental animals. But is there the same evidence in humans? As of now, there isn't a lot of amazing studies on the topic, but some of the research that does exist is very interesting. One rather unique study from Limetal completed a very large-scale study assessing nearly 500,000 people aged between 50 and 71, and found out their daily aspartame intake from the past year. Following a 5-year follow-up of the participants and assessments of them, there was no significant correlation between the risk of hematopoietic cancer, glioma, or their subtypes in both men and women. However, with this study, if we compare it to the rats in the previous one from Landrigan and Strafe, they were given so much more aspartame than what the humans in Lim's study were. For example, some animals have been reportedly given 5,000 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, which is where we tend to see this cancer form. Obviously, this wasn't replicated in the human trials, with the highest doses tending to cap at 3,400 milligrams of aspartame a day. Now, some people believe that in order to gain factual knowledge on the situation, we should do trials involving more aspartame given to humans. It doesn't take a genius though to realise that this is insanely unethical for one, but also that now the World Health Organization reports that around 1 in 6 people will develop cancer in their lifetime, it becomes increasingly harder to distinguish if this cancer is a product of the aspartame or if it's just sprouting naturally. So it seems like we're left without a concrete answer if aspartame and these diet sodas, beverages do in fact cause cancer. On one end, with extremely high doses, it seems like they do, at least in animals. Hence why the World Health Organization is correct in increasing the label to 2B. Yes, there's some evidence in experimental animals, but for a human to reach this, it's practically impossible. It's important to consider though that nowadays, everything is reported to give you cancer. Frequent flying, sitting still, and even being tall have provided links into developing the disease. So if you want to enjoy your Diet Coke or Pepsi Max, enjoy it, because by the looks of it, everything else is going to kill you anyway. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. It's free and it really helps me out. See you next time.